Next week, Michelle's men are moving to Minnesota, her hometown, and we have an exclusive look on what's to come. Hey guys, and welcome back to another shared news. We've got all you need to know on what's going to go down the rest of the season on The Bachelorette. But before we get into it, make sure you guys are subscribed to our channel and ring the bell so you never miss out on any future updates. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, joined by the lovely Gianna Gravalese. Gianna, this is big news. We are getting a little bit of travel. Remember on Katie's season, they were stuck in New Mexico the whole time. And on Tayshia's, they were stuck in La Quinta. Michelle is moving to Minnesota. How excited are you about this change to the Midwest?
I mean, I'm so excited, and like Minnesota is just such a random area. It's not like our other Bachelor Nation people that like are from LA or from anywhere in California or like another big city. Like we're going to Minnesota. So I think it's going to, provide an opportunity to get a nice, like small, intimate scene. So hopefully the men can really use this time to bond with Michelle on a sort of deeper level because it's like a little mini version of hometowns, but for Michelle. So it could be really interesting. I'm excited to see what happens and excited to see if any of the men will go home packing from her hometown. So
Yeah. And I like how they're like curating the season to Michelle because it would be so boring to stay in Indian Wells, Palm Springs the entire time. Like the fact that they're going to Minnesota, we're
Mhm.
going to get to learn more about Michelle and they're going to make the season all about her hometown. I wonder if we'll meet some of her friends, see her favorite spots. It definitely means a lot to her. Gianna, have you ever been to Minnesota? Because I'm just like excited to see what Minnesota is all about.
No, I have not. So I'm hoping that we do get to know a little more of the town itself. Like you said, going to her favorite spots. I'm excited to see if they're gonna go eat somewhere or like party somewhere or like whatever there is to do in Minnesota. I'm excited to learn about. So hopefully I can visit there in the future.
Me and Gianna suddenly booking our tickets to Minnesota. We'll
Let's
be there. We
go.
got to check out the little town. We do have some clips here we're going to go over, look through. We are looking for clues here. So if you guys don't want to know clues on what's to come, we're just breaking down the teaser. We want to find out the tea because we are dying to know how this season is going to end. There's going to be a lot more drama. So let's take a look at this first clip and see what we can discover.
Goodbye, Palm Springs. Hello, Minnesota.
It feels so good to be back home.
We're halfway through the journey.
They're halfway through the journey. Now, there's only 11 guys left, Gianna. We started with 30. There is 11. I mean, who are your like top 3 or 4 favorites going into this week?
This show always baffles me because if I feel like we had 30 contestants like yesterday and now how are we at 11? I don't even know the other like 19 men if I'm doing the math right that left. Like I feel like I don't know any of them besides Pizza Peter because he caused a ruckus, but in terms of the men that are left, I know, this was my opinion before last night's episode, but I was rooting for Chris S. Like I
Wow.
truly loved him. Like that was my season crush. So I was rooting for him. If he gets kicked off, it is what it is. I've already slid into his DMs, so maybe he's single at this point.
Keep us
Also love
updated.
Nate. Yes, Nate is a given. He's one of our front runners. I'm rooting for him as well, even though Chris S did try to take him down last night.
He
And I do
did.
love Joe. I want to know more about Michelle and Joe. I'm not just going to get over, that little instance of if they knew each other or not. I want to know the tea on that. I want to know exactly what went down. Michelle said that they had an exchange of a couple DMs and then he ghosted her, but I want to know if there's more to the story. But those three are the people that I have my eye on right now. And our boy Clayton, but we already know that he's the bachelor and we know that he's going home. So I can't be rooting for him when I know that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to see a lot of Joe, I think, in the next episode because they're going to be in Minnesota. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a one-on-one date. But I'm also really looking forward to seeing more of Alu. He really opened up a lot on the last group date. We learned about him and his sisters. He was really emotional and sympathetic with Michelle. So I'm just like really wondering what's going on with Alu. I hope he gets more airtime. And I'm also watching out for Brandon J. He is getting consistent airtime every single week. Their relationship is developing. It's definitely one of the main storylines. So I have my eyes on him and I'm just excited to see what goes down with Brandon J. And maybe even Rodney. He kind of has been warming up to me. I was really hesitant about him at first because of the whole Apple thing. Still can't get over that, but we're moving on. So let's take a look at what's coming next because every moment with Michelle is going to count more and more.
I'm ready to battle it out for Michelle's heart.
I'm looking for a guy who's not scared to dive in.
Every moment counts with Michelle.
So much to unpack here. Gianna, first of all, I cannot with the puns. I'm looking for a man to dive in. Insert clip. Nate and Michelle quite literally diving into, I guess, the lake. It looks like Nate is going to be getting a one-on-one date as well as Joe, who seems to be on a baseball date. Who are you more excited to see on a one-on-one date? I feel like both of these are long overdue as they have been frontrunners since the beginning.
I know it's so hard to pick just one. I think honestly though, I'm excited to see Joe's just because that baseball field, I remember seeing it all over Twitter months ago,
Yeah.
months and months ago when we were just speculating and seeing what was going to be coming up on Michelle's season. So I'm excited to see how this finally plays out after, just having that little image of them from way up high that fans were taking and sharing and tweeting. So I'm excited to see this, but
Mhm.
again, it's so hard because they are two front runners. So I'm truly excited to see both.
Yeah, and the Joe thing is gonna be interesting because he's also from Minnesota. I wouldn't be surprised if he's been to this baseball field. Also, Michelle and Joe playing basketball, and this is going to bring back flashbacks for them since we know they both were highly competitive basketball players when they were growing up. They may have known each other from a distance. They were both ranked like top basketball player in their high school, and they both played college basketball. So I mean, it's gonna bring back a lot of memories for them, so I'm excited to see, like, what kind of jokes they have and see more of their rapport, and maybe we can learn a little bit more about how they really knew each other and more backstory, because it was just a little fishy and it was kinda brushed over, and I feel like Jamie, was he the one that called them out? I mean, he had, like, a
Yep.
few points. He opened it up to conversation, so we're really gonna get to see how well they knew each other. But let's talk a little bit about this group date because it looks like there's gonna be another competition. It seems like we're gonna be doing some arm wrestling. Gianna, who who do you got here? We have some strong guys in this mix. Who do you have your money on?
Clayton, he was an NFL player. He was a linebacker, I think, or a tight end. I'm sorry. So he's very, very strong. I think he's definitely going to win this arm wrestling challenge. And I hope that this opens the door for us to see Clayton. We have seen nothing. We have gotten nothing. He has had no screen time. We saw like a little blip of him last night, but that was it. So maybe he'll win this competition and we'll see a little bit more of him that'll get the ball rolling. I'm also just dying at the fact that every group date pretty much has been the men fighting. Like they've all been
Yeah.
physical group dates. They've all been knocking each other off of things, whether it was that stick looking thing or the stuffed animals last night. Now they're arm wrestling in these crazy outfits. Like, what is happening? Somebody is bound to get hurt at some point. Like, can we just do something else for once?
It's also just not fair. I actually think Alu is going to win. I think he might have the most muscles, and I think that's really what it comes down to in an arm wrestling contest. But I mean, I'm on the same page with you. I don't want to see them fighting. Like, let's challenge them again. The last time they got challenged was that group date with the fifth graders, and then they were getting challenged on like how to spell like entrepreneur and stuff like that. Like, let's put them to a different type of test, maybe like a relay race where we can test their endurance and see a little bit more
Yeah.
about them. Like, it shouldn't be all about strength. So I'm hoping this group date
Mhm.
has more than that. I do want to talk a little bit about Casey. He is the guy that no one knows. He's in the middle of the two of them right now. You see Casey right smacked in the middle of Clayton and Martin. What do we know about him? There's always this one guy who makes it so far for no reason. It seems like that's going to be Casey.
The only thing I remember about Casey, correct me if I'm wrong, is that when Will and Peter were fighting, I believe Casey is one of our oldest contestants. And I think that he was kind of laughing at them, being like, they are so immature. Like, he made a little comment about, like, this is not how you handle a situation like a real man. So it kind of showed, like,
Oh,
his wisdom and stuff. So that's the only thing I remember about Casey. But
so we
again,
like
I'm like,
Casey.
what? Was it Casey? I still don't even know because I don't really know Casey, but just from that one comment, I like Casey. I'm team Casey and I would love to get to know him more.
Okay, I guess we are standing Casey here on this panel. Casey for the win, Casey for Bachelor. Casey for president. Like, we really are keeping our eyes on him. I hope he gets more airtime next week, as well as Clayton, because I'm with you. I mean, we don't know anything about him, and I don't know what they're trying to like do. Are they just trying to like keep him low key so that no one talks about him too much? And then like the episode he goes home, he gets like 45 minutes of airtime. That's what the conclusion is in my perspective. I feel like they just want to keep him so low key so we don't talk about him being the bachelor. I wouldn't be surprised if he would have got more airtime and then it ended up on the cutting room floor because they have his bachelor season and they want to keep it low key. So I don't even know, but let's take a look at this next clip because it seems like Nate and Michelle are really going to improve on their connection.
You have to make a wish.
What if it already came true?
When I'm with him, I feel fireworks.
Oh my goodness.
I feel something.
Oh my god. Nate and the fireworks. Gianna, we talk about this every season. When the budget is there for you to get the fireworks, like you're a front runner, it's a go-to sign. Do you think the date's gonna go really well for them? Do you think this is gonna solidify Nate and Michelle for the end?
Yeah, I honestly do. If you remember last season, Katie's firework date when we were doing the same breakdown of the previews
Uh-huh.
was with Greg, who we know went really, really far until that situation happened. But obviously, Katie and Greg had a really solid relationship. I think Michelle and Nate are bound to have a solid relationship. And again, also, Greg had the first impression rose. Nate has the first impression rose. Fireworks, fireworks. Are we seeing a connection here? I don't know, but I think that this is definitely going to solidify their relationship. I'm rooting for Nate. I think he's great. He's not giving me a reason to not like him at all. He's handsome. He's charming. He has it all. So I'd be happy to see what happens with him and Michelle. And I hope that he doesn't disappoint us. So we'll see how this date goes, but I'm excited.
Well, I mean, if he's gonna go in the same, rows as Greg, he's gonna end up leaving at the final three. So we hope that
Yeah.
doesn't happen. I really like Nate too and Michelle, but Gianna, you said you liked Chris S. So I need to get your take on this. Are you team Chris S or are you team Nate? And do you think that it's going to affect their relationship?
Actions wise, I am team Nate all the way. I don't know why Chris was trying to be he even said knight in shining armor. He said that he was Michelle's knight in shining armor or something crazy. And I was just like, you're yelling at everyone saying, oh, these guys think that they have it in the bag. When in reality, Chris S., you think you have it in the bag. And like, confidence is great, but he definitely crossed the line a little bit. The only reason I was rooting for him, honestly, Zach, was because of his looks. I just thought he was hot. I thought he was one of the hottest men that
And
Michelle
now what do you
has.
think?
I'm just disappointed. I don't like him, but based off of my dating history, I'm attracted to hot men that are very rude. That's just my type, I guess. So that's why I was rooting for Chris S. But when it comes to the looks and the personality and the whole package, I'm team Nate because I don't think he's going to break Michelle's heart and I don't want to see Michelle upset. So unfortunately, I don't think Chris S will be the one for Michelle. So team Nate in this situation all the way.
Okay, say less. And Gianna, I do not like hearing that. I'm gonna have to submit you for the Bachelorette so we can hook you up with a real guy that is not going to be rude to you. Okay, we're gonna try and find you a Nate or a Brandon J. Look at Brandon J right
Thank
here. It
you.
looks like he's celebrating his third birthday. I don't. We always say how much younger he is than Michelle. So I guess he's turning 3. They are cute together. I really like Brandon J. He's fun to mess around with, but I think he's one of my top 3 favorites on the show, along with Rick and Alu. I'm obsessed with Alu. Who are some of your other favorites that we haven't discussed yet?
Oh my God. Well, I said I love Nate. I love Joe. I did love Chris S before he disappointed me, but I agree with you. Like Alu, I do want to see more of him. Brandon's so cute. He's so wholesome. Like I'm wondering really if it was his birthday or if this was some like weird challenge that was rewarded with a cake, but like why else would there be a birthday cake? I don't know. And then honestly, Zach, we see Rick, as you mentioned, right here yet again. We saw him have a one-on-one date last night. So I think that he's another one of our top contenders for Michelle. And I like him. Again, he is also very handsome. So she has a
Mhm.
couple rock stars in this batch of men. So we just got to clear out the rest and then let them shine through.
That she does. Yes, Rick is definitely someone Michelle is smitten with. And maybe with Brandon J, I can't imagine him winning the arm wrestling competition considering he's definitely one of the scrawniest guys there. So it must be his birthday, unless it's their 3-week anniversary. The 3 candles must mean something. So we'll have to figure out what that is. But not all these guys are, it's not going to be happy rainbow and unicorns, Gianna. Minnesota is not going to be like that. There's going to be some villains. There's going to be some drama. It's the Bachelorette. So let's take a look at this next clip and see if we can tell what's going to go down.
Her infatuation with Nate. Feel like I got the short end of the stick. Stakes are getting higher.
I mean, Chris S., it looks like he's going to be coming for Nate again. Do we think he's just threatened by Nate because Nate might be the front runner, or does Chris S. possibly have valid concerns that we haven't seen yet? Because I have seen mixed reviews on Twitter.
Whoa, great question. My initial thoughts before you said that were I think Chris S is just a little insecure. I think he is threatened by Nate, after his big act that he was trying to take him down. I think last night Chris S expected Nate to go home. He expected Michelle to just listen to what he was saying about Nate, saying that Nate thinks he has it all in the bag, and he wanted Michelle to send him packing because he's threatened by Nate, but that was clearly not the case. So the fact that Nate is next to him staying, he is invigorated. He's angry, and like seeing his temper come out is kind of like a turnoff for me in a sense. Like I don't like how competitive he is. Like Michelle is a human, not a prize. Like why are you so focused on Nate and not Michelle? Like Nate is clearly like connecting with Michelle on a deeper level. Like you got to work to do the same thing and with her, and he's just focused on fighting with Nate and being angry over Nate. Like what why? Like just figure it out, buddy. So I don't think this is going to be good for Chris S at all.
Yeah, it definitely seems like Chris S. is obsessing over Nate. And we see this every season. It's always like that one guy that just pays too much attention to the other guys in the house and then forgets why they're even there. It's normal to get wrapped up in the competition, but at this point, we're halfway through. It's kind of just like quit the drama. You're now in her hometown. And it looked like there was one shot of Nate and Michelle on the one-on-one date, and Chris S. might be interrupting it because we saw their heads turn. What is he trying to do? Is he going to try and ruin the date and solely focus his time here, trying to ruin Nate's connection? It just seems a little immature of him. And I'm just like, it's not going to go over well for you, Chris S. You need to calm down. Gianna, can we imagine Chris S? Do you think he would go that far to interrupt a date?
I as much as he's after Nate, I don't think he would go as far to interrupt a date. But again, we never know because he had the audacity to call everyone out in front of Michelle and try to be her knight in shining armor. So we do not know. But again, I always remind everyone that these previews, these little mini trailers are essentially clickbait. They edit the ever living crap out of these trailers to make things look like they're happening when in reality they're not. You don't even know for sure if somebody walked in on their date. Maybe a producer dropped their phone on the ground and they both looked and turned to see the noise. You know what I mean? Like it's like it could be somebody, but it also couldn't be somebody. There's so much room for possibility. Like I do love sitting here with you trying to predict and trying to get the tea out of every little moment, but it is a friendly reminder. Like it's like he may be looking at them from afar. Like I don't think he would go interrupt them, but I know these always have my head spinning, so I don't know for sure.
I do. I think he will interrupt them. I think he's crazy. I think him,
Okay.
like, even making that grand speech in front of all the guys, Nate kind of described it best. It was just weird. And I liked how Nate, like, kept his composure throughout that because it's really easy to squirm
Yes.
and to get upset when someone is, like, falsely coming for your character. And I just feel like
Yes.
Chris S is just, like, on this tornado and it's just going to explode. And he's just better off keeping his mouth shut. But it's going to make for good TV. And I'm really glad that he stayed another week because I'm ready for the drama, okay? I like the drama sometimes. It's fun. But let's
Love
take
it.
another look because it's going to keep going and there are going to be some guys questioned if they're there for the right reasons.
Nothing's a guarantee.
He's not the right person for her.
Our relationship isn't progressing forward.
I'm nervous about what he might do.
I'm nervous about what he might do. I'm not the best. Someone's not the best for her. It looks like a lot of the guys are now questioning each other. This is when the stakes are getting higher and higher. I feel like they're just talking about Chris S. I feel like it's going to be all about Chris S next season. What I've noticed with the show is that they used to have like one villain throughout the whole season, maybe one and a half. Now it seems like they get a new villain every like 2 episodes. You know, it was like Peter, then it was like low-key Martin for a second. Now it's gonna be Chris S. Do we think that the whole house is just gonna turn on Chris S, or do you think there's other fractions between the guys?
Oof. I mean, I definitely think that they are going to turn on Chris S sooner rather than later. I don't know really if we're going to have another. I can't picture any of these other men really being that big of a villain. But again, I couldn't picture Chris S being a villain at all. So it's like you just never ever know with these guys. I really maybe think that, like you said, Zach, usually they do hang on to villains like throughout almost the entire season. So maybe because Peter was gone and now Chris S is a new villain, I think they may hold on to him just a little bit longer to keep on stirring the
Ooh.
pot. And that's why we keep hearing, he's not right for her, this, that, the other, because I think it is going to be all directed toward him. Like there has to be more layers to this Chris S drama because we see it with Nayte. And now I think the other guys are going to start to pick up on it too. So I'm nervous, but I just want the best for Michelle. I'm like, why do we always have this drama? Like, what is happening? So much is going on in these little few clips. There's so much to unpack.
Yeah, and it's all going down in Minnesota. Minnesota has become the center of this, and Minnesota's going to be a really fun place. Me and Gianna cannot wait to book our tickets and visit, and
Yes.
have a double date with Michelle and her future fiance. We have one more clip here to kind of round out the rest of the trailer that we have here. Next week is going to be crazy, and this clip might get us a little worried that Michelle might get heartbroken. So let's take a look.
Pretty shocking if he takes down other men with him.
Can't do this anymore.
She could be making a huge mistake.
If I get heartbroken, then that's
So this is where it looks like Nayte and Michelle are on their date, and then we saw Nayte outside here. You see he's like pacing outside. He's probably freaking out, and you see his head turning. This is why I think Chris S is going to interrupt this date. Unless Brandon interrupts this date because Brandon's in the mix, but maybe they're just trying to throw us off. As you mentioned, Gianna, the editors, they know what they're doing here. So I don't think it's a good move to interrupt a date at all, but maybe it's Chris S just seems like the type of guy that is easily pushed by producers. And I feel like Nate's gonna come out victorious because Nayte hasn't done anything the entire season. He's always like stood up for what's right.
Yeah, it's so interesting. They are making it look like Brandon walked in on their date, especially since he's also wearing that white button up shirt. It seems like there's like a white theme happening for some reason. But if you notice, like the walls are just way different than that kind of like overhang area that they're in. Like there's big windows and stuff, and like where Brandon's standing looks way different. So I think that this is just a trick. Like you said, they're trying to mislead us. But yeah, now I changed my mind. I said maybe potentially no one could have been walking in, but somebody, which I think now Chris S definitely has to be walking in. Because then when they do a close up on Michelle's face, you can kind
Look
of
at her
see Nate's
face.
face in the corner. He's like, what? Like, what? Like, they
Yeah.
both look absolutely shocked. So I can't even imagine like what's happening. But also, to kind of throw it back to that whole fireworks topic, that was with Nayte in these exact outfits. So I'm like, when did the fireworks happen? Was it before this little one-on-one sit down, or did he have a moment and then they recollected and then they had a fireworks thing and everything ended up being fine? Like, you don't know. And then of course we have the clips, we have men crying. We always see this at the halfway point. We get the tears from the men. Looks like Joe is crying. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
is something happening there? Because Michelle looks really serious. Like, is she sending him packing? Like, what can we expect
Well,
from this?
maybe she needed that date with Joe to really figure him out, especially in Minnesota where they are. Because I just thought it was a red flag to begin with that he never tried to reach out to Michelle to begin with
Mm,
when they've known each other for years or known of each other. All of a sudden, she's the Bachelorette, and now you want to meet her. Like I always thought it was a
yeah.
little fishy with Joe from day one. I really thought that. So maybe she needed that date, and maybe she is gonna break up with Joe on the one-on-one date. Like it's very possible that he is going to get sent home and that she's gonna realize that he probably should have reached out to her or answered her DM. I mean, Gianna, when a guy leaves you on red, like, do you just give them another chance because they show up on your season of The Bachelorette?
No, he would have been out the door night one, but obviously I don't think that the producers would have let me actually send him packing. But in this real life that we call reality, which is like us sitting down right now, if a guy left me on red and then tried to talk to me or show up somewhere, I'd be like, no, you literally ghosted me. No more chances. That's it. Foot is down. Foot is down. You
Yes,
heard
and
it
it
here.
looks like next week a lot is going to go down. She's going to have romantic one-on-one dates. They're moving to Minnesota. There's going to be some drama, and we want to hear from you guys. We want to know what you think, so let us know in the comments below. What are your predictions? What are you guys seeing in this trailer that me and Gianna may have missed? Let us know, and make sure you guys are subscribed to our channel and ring the bell so you never miss out on any Bachelorette tea. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, joined by Gianna Gravalese. Our social media handles are on the screen right now, so come give us a follow, come say hello, and thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you next time. See you later.